Hello, everyone. The Liteyny Avenue or the Foundry Avenue, because the Foundry means litio. This is originally it was the area where, well, the arsenal was, and the very first foundry was to supply the army and the fleet with armors, with cannonballs and everything. And this area was always a little bit at a distance from the city. It was like a little bit small village, and that's what it looked like in the 18th century. But as city started growing, it became part of the city. But there was also no need for this type of foundry. They couldn't really house it in the city center. So it was decided to eventually completely tear down the building that is exactly in the center of the image. So that building was gone, and the buildings that survived, the building of the arsenal to the left, it was just rebuilt. It's still there, but it's not an arsenal. And the rest of the area basically is just um, it finally provides access to the water, to the Neva River. And the avenue begins with the Liteyny Bridge, with the Foundry Bridge. And yes, very soon, next month, in a week from now, I'll be taking you and virtual tours for the boat tour. So we're going to be doing two tours, two Saturdays in a row. First, it's going to be a a boat trip now during the day, the rivers and canals cruise, and then it's going to be the tour by night with bridges opening, and it's going to see this bridge open at night as well, the Foundry Bridge. So we've already been to this area, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but I will just once again show you this video from my camera roll. For those who have not seen, for those who have not done any of these bridges tours, like boat tours with me, well, it's just, I don't know, 2% of how impressive this looks. And camera doesn't do it justice, because it's even more remarkable and breathtaking to be there on the water, a little seasick maybe, but also completely infatuated with the city. And I miss this time. And now St. Petersburg is just about to have its white nights, and that's why we are doing it in early June, to kind of time it with the white nights. So the Foundry Avenue or Liteyny Avenue, we have already been to the building with the spire. So we've already seen the gorgeous um, assembly, like the noble assembly, the army's assembly. We've already passed by a house where the Joseph Brodsky, the dissident poet who left the Soviet Union and was based in the States. And so he lived in this avenue as well, and some other buildings that we have seen, just some other houses. So we carry on, and this avenue also has a lot of side streets, alleyways, and we will be exploring some of them. This is like a big part of the city that we have not seen yet. To be honest, I out of all the areas of St. Petersburg, Liteyny Avenue, I was probably one of the areas I least guided in. Not because I don't know this area, but just because it's not really that touristy. On the one hand, there is not there's not so much to see. On the other hand, there is a great deal to see. And it's just not for tourists, but mostly for locals. It's one of those places that locals keep to themselves, for themselves. So that's why we're going there, of course, now with virtual tours. So the Nerov House, it's a small building, again, quite unassuming. Okay, well, it looks cute, right? Just two floors. Come on. But this house has an interesting story to it, to be honest. Really sweet. Well, Nerov is just the name of the person who owned this house, and normally houses like that were mainly for trade, mainly with with so many windows. You can see it looks a little bit like a little bit too many doors, a little bit too many windows. So originally it was one of the first so-called гостиный двор in Russian. It's like the old style shopping mall where basically each door was like a separate shop. And well, this area started to develop starting from mid 19th century. And well, this is not the very old shopping mall, but this is how it was built. And then it was a bit redesigned to look more like a Art Nouveau style. But in a nutshell, it's well just a trade building, and it belonged to a Nero family. But well, here used to be a store. Actually, at the turn of the 20th century, here used to be a, well, a very interesting store. This is, I don't know, it's like it was the shop and the warehouse of um of furniture. It says here kustarny. It means like you know, handmade furniture. And it's mainly wooden, wooden furniture, wooden baskets, wooden items, like a little bit of a rustic style, country style living, this type of things. And so this was a warehouse that was rented by a facility that made this, well, produced these items. And this was, I have a series of photographs that were actually advertising. They were published in the local newspaper, and it's just lovely to see this. This is the advertising. Advertising. It looks really cute, but it's even more impressive because over here again, this is well, it's the same store, wooden furniture store, and they I don't know, the assortment, the range of products was incredible because the entire building was very long. Um, well, the ground floor was all occupied by this company, and their ads were actually everywhere. That's what I read, you know, in the comments on the, yeah, there is kind of a forum. So I read that, and their ads, they really invested in those ads because in this particular advertisement was photographed. So for this particular advertisement was photographed Russian poet of early 20th century, Sergei Yesenin. And for them, it was absolutely the best person because Sergei Yesenin he was from a small village, Konstantinova, in the center of Russia, and well, his image was like the poet of the village, a simple Russian man with a peasant soul, hay color or sunrise color hair, milky skin, blue eyes. Oh, he was a sex symbol. Okay, so I mean, look at that. Not my style, not my. I don't know. I mean, we look like a brother and sister. That's I don't know. I don't like people who look similar to me, but and I, you know, anyway. But his poetry was really good. Yesenin was actually the first poet whose poems I started to learn by heart, and I still remember some lines of it. I might have actually shared it before. So, well, if you are a furniture store and you sell wooden furniture, handcrafted by local artisans, by Russian artisans, and it's like country style living, Sergei Yesenin was absolutely spot on. Absolutely. So I have one, I just shared the photograph. This is where he was from. This is his house in the village of Konstantinova. There is a museum now. I have never been there. This is just a photo from the internet, but it's just for you to understand where this man was from. And so he was the poet of a Russian village. And you know what? I thought, and I just would like to show, just to add the vibe. So imagine we are now like in this furniture store. It's like IKEA of that time. It's like well, one particular kind of IKEA, a country style. Um, I like it. Like, oh, look at all these lace work, crochet. I mean, oh, look at this. Just a simple Russian boy making the baskets from, well, this one says this is the manufacture from the birch tree crust. So, yeah, again, so this is like all this, and it was very popular back then because there was this kind of the revival of the Russian style in architecture, that. Also, Art Nouveau was already coming in its own, come into its own, and well, Art Nouveau was specific, right? Dependent, well, like, it was unique, and the idea of Art Nouveau was to reconnect with your local nature. So having this traditional crafts and just, I would say, restyling, rethinking them was super trendy. So that's why they invested so much in the production and in the promotion of their products. Look at this. Huh? Right. This is the embroidery, the traditional embroidery designs in the Russian Empire. Some of them may look Ukrainian to you, but that was part of the Russian Empire as well. But not all of them. There are also a lot of the traditional Russian designs. But you have the idea. And this was in that very store. So I think it was just the amazing store, amazing promotion. So their marketing team did a great job. That's what I think, honestly. I, I I think it's amazing. And I started these photographs, just looked at them, looked at the products they have on sale. So, um, gorgeous. We will be talking more about Sergei Yesenin, I promise, but not just now. And uh, I asked, okay, so Oleg asked me when filming this whether I wanted him to go like back and forth from one side of the road to another. And I said, well, you can do that, but don't overdo it. It's okay. So as he's filming on one side of the road, he's standing now next to this gorgeous residential building. It is gorgeous. And well, he didn't film it because he was on that side of the street, but I found some photographs. I don't think I've ever visited that house, to be honest. I don't think so, but I passed by multiple times, of course. So this house, this is an income house, a traditional residential building that belonged to the Imperial Philanthropic Society. So imagine, this is a charity organization, the Philanthropic Society, yet they own a huge tenant building, right? A huge income house. Well, because it was a way to generate funds. So again, real estate has always been a great way of investment, and it was a great way of generating more funds. And obviously, the house was built not with the charity money, but it was the budget, right? Because it's the Imperial Philanthropic Society. Yeah. So originally, this Imperial Philanthropic Society was established with Alexander I, well, the one who defeated Napoleon, grandson of Catherine the Great. We're talking early 1800s, and then also his mother, Maria Feodorovna, uh, daughter-in-law for Catherine the Great. So she was in charge of this organization as well as many other charity organizations across the city. It's just wanted to share it with you, just that. And but so Oleg didn't film the facade, but he went to the courtyard. So I asked him to go, a little bit and check things out. So he did. What we see, the elevators outside, right? Because obviously when this house was built, there were no elevators, and this house is lucky because, again, but I think like only probably one lobby is lucky and the other one is not, and it's very common because not every house actually has enough space or whatever, to build, to kind of attach an external elevator. It's not easy. Well, technically, I mean, there has to be space for it. So it happens very often, let's say after a big renovation during the Soviet period or like post post-Soviet period even. So you see that one lobby does have the elevator, but another lobby, like another entrance, like entrance number one has the elevator, but entrance number two does not have an elevator. In this case, at least two entrances have elevators, but they're not all of them. So, like some of them are luckier than the other. I mean, than others because yeah, you have just noticed that there are like two wings to this building, and there's also like the wing in the middle. This is how they try to use as much space as possible because yeah, I just would like to remind you that there were rules with regards to like how these tenant houses, like income houses, were supposed to be built. They had to have a courtyard, but the size of the court was never really regulated. So that's why we sometimes have like teeny tiny courtyards and gazillion of apartments or like buildings added to it, like Annex 1, Annex 2. um, well, this is the same story here. So this block, like this annex to the left, is like an addiction, like annex exactly to the building that was added at some point. Well, so well, what can I say? But this quartet is big. It's okay, and I guess it wasn't common for the Imperial Philanthropic Society just to keep it as it is. I mean, well, I mean, on the one hand, they wanted to earn more money for their charity activities. So that's why they added an annex with more apartments. But on the other hand, they kind of, well, they had to limit themselves because it probably wouldn't be a good idea to build a huge annex to deprive people of the a bigger courtyard. So I think they kind of found a happy middle there because normally that's exactly what would happen. Yeah. Anyway, this was just it. And we go on. So we are now passing by. I think you can recognize the windows, the side, like from the photo. So this is the beautiful, um, eclectic building. To be honest, I'm not even sure which, maybe a little bit of the neo-Russian style, but just purely eclectic. And the buildings in the Liteyny Avenue are pretty much eclectic anyway. Some of them were built in the mid 19th century. Some of them would be rebuilt multiple times as well. Originally, they would be of two floors, but then would be some floors would be added, or the building would be completely torn down and rebuilt in a well in a much grander forms. Well, just an ordinary building, I would say, like any other in the city, nothing special about them. And sometimes, well, you would just pass by, and well, I wasn't born to this architecture. I was born in Siberia. To me, all these buildings are still, yeah, okay. I had lived in Saint Petersburg and Moscow for many years, but still, this is not something I'm used to from the very beginning. So even buildings like that interest me. And what interests me is how much has survived. And I was able, to find some photographs. Well, it's also interesting how people lived in the communal apartments as well. So I was able to find, well, but it's also interesting. Okay, maybe it's not interesting from the point of view of architecture, but these houses are interesting because of the people who live there. And we have just seen Sergei Yesenin, right? The poet, the village poet, the sex symbol, early 20th century Russia. And he lived in that house. Again, this house was nothing special in it, but it was special because Sergei Yesenin lived there for a very short period of time. I think it's like even less than a year. Um, if I can see, in 1917, 1918. Yes, so this memorial plaque says that in this house lived Sergei Yesenin from 1917 to 1918. Exactly. So that's what's so special about it. And well, I think now I have a carte blanche. I think I can tell you more about Sergei Yesenin. I mean, it's my tour. I can. I can show you whatever I want, right? I mean, if it's relevant to the tour. But now, well, I just could not but introduce you to Sergei Yesenin a lot better. So that's him once again. Uh, it's just a little spoiler. He allegedly killed himself, or he was helped with that at a very young age. It happened during the Soviet period already, so he lived a very short life. And one of the iconic poems of Sergei Yesenin was this one. I first sharing some Russian version of it. I will read a little bit of this poem, Исповедь хулигана, and then I'll show you the translation as well. And then we're gonna watch something really interesting and hear something really interesting. So, исповедь хулигана. Не каждый умеет петь, не каждому дано яблоком падать к чужим ногам. Сие есть самая великая исповедь, которая исповедуется хулиган. A hooligan, right? So, yeah, indeed, he had already after, some years of being famous and always surrounded with women, money, and attention, he kind of also had this reputation of a hooligan anyway, like a little bit bold, but not like too much. But yeah, definitely he misbehaved. And I think he was loved for that. So Исповедь хулигана means confession of a hooligan. So not everyone is gifted with song. Not everyone is destined to fall like an apple at another's feet. This is the greatest confession a hooligan can ever make. I walk on purpose with uncombed hair, my head upon my shoulders like a kerosene lamp. So, right? I like to light within the darkness the leafless autumn of your souls. I like it when the stones of curses fly at me like hail from a retching storm. This is an AI translation because I wasn't able to find a really good one on Google, so I just asked AI to. I polished it a little bit, but this is AI translation, but of a real poem. So, yet cherish me as they cherish their fields and flesh, like the spring rain that loosens the green shoots of earth. A hooligan, right? Okay, so, and whenever I can, I try, well, I do like share with the old photos. More than that, more than photos, I like to share old videos. And you know what? We have a video of Sergei Yesenin, like 1913 or something. I think the date is written there. And it's more than just a video. We have an audio recorded in 1920s of him reading the confessions of a hooligan. We have to do this. We have to hear this. Okay. Let's do it. So you should have the sound. I think it should be good. And he is in this video. He's invited to the opening of a monument to a poet. This poet is actually kind of forgotten, but back in the days, he was pretty big. So, and Yesenin, as one of the biggest poets of the time, just had to be there at the grand opening, the unveiling of the monument. So the voice of Sergei Yesenin was recorded in 1921 by Professor Bernstein. And the monument, so the opening was 1918 to a poet, Koltsov.
Я нарочно иду нечесанный, головой, как керосиновая лампа на плечах, ваших душ бесчисленную осень мне нравится в потемках освещать. Мне нравится, когда каменьки брани летят в меня, как град, рыгающие разы. Я только крепче жму тогда руками моих волос коснувшийся пути. Так хорошо тогда мне вспоминать заросший пруд и хриплый звон ольхи, что где-то у меня живут отец и мать, которым наплевать на все мои стихи, которым дорог я, как поле и как ночь, как дождик, что весной рыхляет зеленяк. Они бы силами пришли вас заколоть, на каждый крик ваш брошенный меня.
It gives me goosebumps. I don't know. Okay, like we have videos of Leo Tolstoy, of Romanovs. Okay, videos, but voices. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of voices recorded as well, but I don't know. I just can't help it. Yeah. So I just, well, okay, you like very few of you were able to understand what he was talking about, so it probably wasn't Russian, but the intonation, the pitch, right? The emotions, that's oof, intense, right? And the hair, you could see his hair. And did you see the girl? She was looking at him like this. I think she was almost eating him with her eyes. Anyway, let's go on. Yeah, and you know what? So we're just here next to this very unassuming house. I'm stopping just here. So you see the doors. Well, usually the doors in the archways would be the apartments of dvorniks, like the street sweepers, the um, the cleaners of the building. That usually every dvornik lived in one of the buildings that well, of the territory like he was assigned to. And well, usually dvorniks' apartments were quite small, but really good. Plus, dvorniks were really well paid and always paid a little extra by the people, by the residents. And dvorniks were very, very, very respected. So this was a very prestigious job. Yeah, it was just kind of clean. It was cleaning, but it didn't boil down just to cleaning and maintenance. There was a lot more, and also a little bit of security, keeping an eye on everyone who's coming in, who's leaving, and like dwarniks knew everything, knew everyone, and they could just help you lose face or save your face. So everyone is a little bit kind of careful with dwarniks as well. And okay, we're still in this unassuming building, right? I mean, we are now in the premises, and I have never been there. But I found an interesting thing. Again, another annex built here. This annex looks really cute. I have not been able to find any information. There's no really information when this particular annex was built. Was it built the same time the bigger house was constructed, or it was added later just to add a little bit more apartments? No idea. I don't know. But there is no entrance from this side. The entrance is from the other side. Um, I don't know. This is still a mystery. This is still a mystery. And I also like this detail. I found a photo online, like there had to be a weather vane, I assume, but I don't know. But there's no weather vane, and someone placed this. I don't know, it's like someone made it from, I don't know, it's iron. I I I'm not sure, but I like it. It's probably cast iron or something. There has to be a weather vane, but and I also, so it's just like probably just three rooms. And I like the design of the windows. Each window looks different, right? And I mean, yeah, it's not looking really great. I mean, it does need painting. I mean, it's safe. It's totally okay to be there. I mean, it's safe. It's not going well. The building is not falling apart, but because of the heavy rains and just the high humidity level, all these paint comes off regularly. So it has to be renewed, but it's money. There's one more thing that I want you to see here. Uh, well, you see this to the left. There is this little part of the ground floor painted in pink, as opposed to this dark dirty yellow-ish, grayish, I don't know. So you see the two windows, and you see that they're kind of built within kind of an arched construction. So actually, these are, well, they're not fake, but they were not here from the very beginning. This was the stables. Originally, this was the stables because every house built at that time, they didn't have cars, but many people did have horses. So, and they had carriages. So this was their garage. The horse, the chariot, right? I mean, the carriage, there was the garage. That's it. It was quite costly to have a horse and to have a carriage. Obviously, not everyone could afford that, but some people could. So, but obviously now there are no horses. We're holding our horses, but yeah. So they still not now someone just built regular room from it, and yeah, I like this very cozy corners because a lot of courtyards kind of end up with just a wall. Sometimes you know that the windows of an apartment, like in the second courtyard, there is first courtyard, which is usually kind of more expensive. The most expensive windows would be the ones overlooking the main street. Then less expensive will be overlooking the first courtyard, and the second courtyard is usually the last courtyard. Is usually the apartments of servants, of maids, and then windows of their apartments. Okay, the best case scenario, their windows will be overlooking somebody else's windows. Worst case scenario, just a wall, or like Brand Mauer wall, like fire safety wall. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And you know what also is really crazy? There are 60,000 people in St. Petersburg now that are still living in communal apartments. And whenever, okay, I'll give you a life hack. I'm not sure it will ever be handy if you will ever use that. But let's say, I don't know, when better times come for my country, and it will be when it's possible to go back and travel and everything. So yeah, um usually when you're in the courtyard and you see very dirty old windows, it's probably the communal apartment because usually if people own an apartment, one of the first things they try to do is to change windows. Just kind of just saying how things are. Yeah. In the 90s, everyone was crazy about these plastic windows. Wow, because it was fast, clean, and cheap, and totally ruined the look of the house. I mean, if it's just a high-rise building with I don't know, made from panel blocks, it's okay. But if it's I mean, a cute 19th century thing, no. I mean, that's exactly what's happening here. Look at this house. Is that a listed building? It's not. So they were allowed to change the windows, and now you can see windows of different color, and the white ones are the craziest, are the they're the worst, absolutely. But so I'm showing you this house because it was featured on a lot of revolutionary photographs because Liteyny Avenue was featured in the photographs. And the Liteyny Bridge was also important for the revolutionary forces. And there are photographs, people with the banners. This was 1917, and I believe this is like between the two revolutions. In 1917, we had two of them. We had a February, like bourgeois revolution, and one of the outcomes of that revolution appraisal was Nicholas's abdication. But then in the one in October, it was when the provisional government was taken over by the Bolsheviks. So, and in between, it was the tumultuous time, honestly, that yeah. But there's another story why I'm sharing the photograph of that house. Before the revolution, it used to house a pharmacy that belonged to Professor Bieber. Okay, just Professor Bieber. but just, funny how it sounds, Professor Bieber. And Professor Bieber was a pharmacist. He wasn't just uh, the one who ran the pharmacy. He made uh well medicine. Yeah, so he was professor, pharmacist, and I mean, so it's cut out from a newspaper, but it's an ad, and it says 90% of men and women suffer from gonorrhea. And then this is like a story, like how terrible things are and how people don't care about their health because of all these promiscuous connections. Things are always the same. It's always been like this. A lot of promiscuous relationships and one night stands, and also prostitution was right. We spoke about it. So 90%. I don't know whether his data was backed by official resources or whatever, but like 90% is like a lot. So and then he like advertises his medicine that worked so well on so many people, and it says like he has been receiving like thousands of thank you messages from people of different you know uh, different walks of life, from the people from the like clerks and everyone else. It's just amazing. So he just promotes his remedy from gonorrhea really well. It's written like really, really well written. And it's like it also says here that a lot of people have been able to get cured from gonorrhea, all thanks to Professor Bieber. I mean, everything is so funny, but you know what? I appreciate the Art Nouveau design as well. It's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. And the cost was 7 ruble 50 kopecks, which is something around like I'm okay, it's like really, really rough conversion, but it's something like $700, something like that. Well, it's not, it also depends which year we're talking about. So, but it was quite expensive. So, and yeah, so that's why. So I don't know. I just find it absolutely hilarious. And this pharmacy was in this very house. As you can see, this originally the house was of 2 floors, and then one was added, and then two more added. According to information I have been able to find, the floors were all added before 1917, which I don't know. But again, the house is not listed. Clearly, it's not a listed house. So they were able to just completely destroy the looks of already not very nicely looking building. I mean, okay, ordinary building. They destroyed it with the plastic windows, especially the white ones. Yeah. Another building just next to it. Okay, again, it looks simple, really plain. Okay, it was probably the only decoration that it has. Yeah, but I just liked it. I like to find the details. Sure, I don't know. I like it. That's it. That's what I can say. And also building next to it, simple, nothing special. But you know what? I have been able to find a photo. This very photo was taken exactly somewhere next to this building. Like if you take a closer look at the previous photograph, over there, you see that there are like, it's not even a balcony. What do you call it? It's like okay, I can't remember. Just a second. I need to look it up because I need to remember that. It's not a bay window because it's not a bay window. It's like, no, it's like a bay window. No, it's not. Okay, it does look like a bay. Okay, whatever. It's a bay window. So nothing special case, just another, income house, whatever. But you will see that bay window also over there, like behind the porch. The porch used to have a roof. It doesn't anymore. This photo was clearly taken before the revolution. And you know what? In this particular photograph, there is nothing special. It doesn't look like a staged photograph. It's not a portrait. These people are clearly not related. They're just passersby. And there's this picture is like really, you see it's tilted. It's not even in the fog, not really in the focus. There's something that caught my eye in this photo, and I started digging and digging, and I've dug something. So this photo was taken by Alfred Eberling. Alfred Eberling was actually a very popular turn of the century artist. He was the professor of the Academy of Fine Arts, by the way, and he was very good. He was German, and he was very popular. He had his very big studio in the center of the city. He had students, he had followers, he had clientele. Look at this, his studio. I mean, look, right? Isn't it gorgeous? So, um, it's kind of a little bit sad that he's, well, not forgotten. I mean, you can find his photographs, his paintings on display. He specialized in portraits, but he also was good at still lifes and landscapes. I've seen some online. You can find his portraits on display in the Russian Museum and some others, but he actually was really popular during his time. And you know what? One of his like really first painting was pretty monumental, and it went on a world tour, and it was purchased by a museum in San Francisco. I have not been able to find it now in San Francisco to locate which exactly museum it is in. Maybe it's no longer there. Maybe it's just in the storage and not on display. So I didn't really have time to look for it. Like, I think, well, I think it can be found. So, but like not every artist in Russia at that time could just boast having sold his one of his first paintings to a museum in the States. So big deal. Anyway, he was very good at it. I actually like his portraits, and the amazing thing is that he started his career before the revolution, and somehow he did not suffer any repercussions or like restrictions during the First World War. And then after the revolution, he just happened to be there, at the right place, in the right place at the right time. And, he was just as popular and probably even more popular. And he created portraits of Lenin, of everyone in his circle. But before the revolution, he painted a lot of ballerinas, a lot of rich women, merchants. I don't know how that happened. Look at this. So this is his illustration for harem. Very Art Nouveau. It does give me this Art Nouveau vibes. So there are not so many stories of artists remaining just equally popular in those very different countries. I like this very much. It's not even a finished portrait of Irina Maximovich. I have not been able to find any information about her. She could have been just, a wife of a merchant or whatever. But I really like the portrait. It looks like it's a photograph, right? It looks like a photo. I mean, these eyes. She's looking at me. She's judging me and asking me questions. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, but just to let you know how big he was, this was his portrait of Vladimir Lenin, and it was exactly his portrait, uh, which eventually was printed on the money, on the banknotes that circulated in the country in the 1920s. The Bolsheviks wouldn't have placed just anybody's, portraits of Lenin, on the banknotes. That's like It just kind of gives you an idea. This is, by the way, this is now quite a rare banknote. So, as I was told, I don't know much about it. And you know what? Um, hold on a second. I just want to see if so the Eberling. No, that's not Eber. I was thinking maybe that's Eberling himself in that photo, but then who took the photo? Then I don't know. But this gentleman looks like Eberling. I just wanted to double check just to see his mustache. So maybe it was him, maybe it's not. And the photograph was taken. It's exactly the same area. It's exactly the same street. Must have been just the same day, just the same hour. I don't know. So Eberling had a hobby. So as when he went on a tour, to Europe and then to the States, when he saw the painting, that's because he was a pensioner. That's because he was among the best in his course, and he was sent, for 2 years abroad to enjoy his life and study and everything, free of charge. So he bought a Kodak camera as he, well, was somewhere in Europe, and then he came to St. Petersburg and he had his hobby just going around like just walking down the streets of St. Petersburg and taking photos of people. This is absolutely gorgeous. These are just people in the streets of St. Petersburg. You look at how people are dressed. You know what they say? Some of the photos look like, I don't know, it's like fashion photography. Maybe a bit like Leibovitz, a little bit. Well, like it's not staged, right? It's just random people, but it has this, I don't know, motion, and also it's just incredible, just capturing the moment. Look at this woman. I just love her polka dots. Look at the parasol. Oh, it's just these are people, and this man, um, holding a papers right in his hand. He's probably just, in a hurry to meet, somewhere, just like, you know, anyone at any point, right? It's just like, and the way he's dressed, it's like really capturing the moment. I love it. I'm absolutely in love with it. And some people actually claim that this is like the very early fashion photography in a way, in a way. And because, I mean, look at these dresses. These are different areas of St. Petersburg. This is somewhere really close to the what do you call it? What we call it? A Palace Square. This is not far from the Admiralty. This is the corner of the Palace Square. I think this is a postman. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't really tell from here. And this is Nevsky Avenue. Look at this lady with a dog. This is the islands, the Ostrava, the Lagin or Krestovsky. So this is where people would go, for some time on there, uh, for an outing. Kind of usually it took one day. I mean, it would be like a full day trip. I don't know. Are they dating or what? I don't know what's going on in there. But this woman, she must have been doing some shopping, or maybe she bought just some bread home. This is interesting. This is really interesting because these photo, well, you see actually a very advanced stroller, really advanced because it's a lot more maneuverable because it has only one wheel and it's easier to turn it. I don't think it actually could turn, but it was definitely more maneuverable because of the three wheels. But that's interesting. So the woman that is pushing the stroller, it could be a mother, it could be the mother of the child, but most likely not. It could be I don't know, could it be a maid or I don't know, servant? I don't know. But the woman next to them wearing a kokoshnik, like it's like, how come? It's early 20th century. That woman is dressed well, just like everyone in the city would. And then this woman wearing a traditional headpiece. It's like seeing a cowboy in New York next to a smartly dressed man. How? Because this woman was on duty at work. She is the one, we used to call them kормiliца. Basically, she is the breastfeeder because uh, usually aristocrats, like it used to be considered that breastfeeding is not good for you. I mean, for a mother. So usually they would be hiring women from a village, and they would be breastfeeding their children for as long as they wanted to. They were called kормiliца. But there were also other cases, or also, women just at some point could lose their milk and whatever. Like it could, but well, anything. But it's just so much you can actually just tell by just looking at at these photographs. Oh, look at this gentleman! I like the bow tie. He's smiling. I don't know where this is, but I like it. Probably countryside. This is clearly countryside, and this is the train station called Tarasovskaya. I don't even know where it is, but I like it. So these are ladies definitely coming for a picnic. There's probably there are definitely some servants that are carrying all the, products. The woman in black is probably you know, someone big. Yeah, well, the one next to her is probably like a mother and daughter or whatever. And those are the two girls are their servants, maybe three girls. I'm not probably two. Anyway, this is the Academy of Fine Arts, and ladies just passing by, probably going towards the Sphinx. I don't know, these ones, lovey-dovey or whatever, some flirty ones, I don't know. Look at this gentleman, definitely collecting money. Uh, a simple man. Kids in the summer garden by the Neva River. I'm not sure where it is. And I love this so much. This is also the summer garden. I like these dresses. These girls look so cute. The jump rope and that I'm not it looks like a baseball ball or something. I don't know what this is. Maybe it looks like a giant turtle. I don't know. But this is the summer garden. I think this is just absolutely amazing. So one photo can lead to, an interesting story that could be told. So in this particular case, it's not really related to a house because the house is really the most unassuming you can find. But the stories, and I can tell you them because they are related. I mean, it's just lovely. So I really wanted to show this to you, to share this with you, like a whole different uh, taste of St. Petersburg. Okay, so this is it. Next time we're going to start exactly from here. And this house is actually very special. It's a museum. It's a museum of a very big 19th century poet. So poetic, right? Okay, but I am wrapping this up. I don't want to overrun, and I'll hi to those who joined us a little after we started. Yeah, the chat is open for your questions. Let me know if you have any. And in the meantime, I will be sharing with you more links. So in case you missed the previous live stream from Tbilisi, we had a fun tour, and Oscar lost his pants as well, by the way. Thank you so much. Thank you, dears. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sharon, absolutely. Seeing those dresses, seeing those women, and being able like to think, to guess what their day was like, what their lives were like, especially in the wake of the revolution. It's just amazing to know and to see the same streets and to see the shops people would go to, all that. It's precious. Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. So I'm sharing the links over here. In 1 hour from now, I'm taking you to a Romanov Palace with virtual tours. Actually, very close. The branch of the family very close to Nicholas II and Alexandra. It's the family of uncle to Nicholas II, and he married the elder sister of Alexandra Fedorovna, so Nicholas's wife. Like they're really close. So that's Robin. Thank you so much for a coffee. Thank you. So this is basically it. The next episode of Liteyny Avenue is already there. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, I knew you would love these photos. So I tried to find as many as I could. They're actually a lot more, but I thought it would be just more than enough. Um, he's not the only person who did that, but his photos are considered really among the best because he focused on people. Well, not long ago, we did a tour of the photo studio of Karel Bulla. I think it was while I was in Amsterdam. And Karel Bulla was also a fantastic photographer that worked around the same time. But he was a professional photographer, and he took a lot of portraits, family photographs, or this is like journalist photographs exactly while being there at the crime scene or whatever. But Ruttinger was not even a photographer. He was just, an amateur. It was his hobby. And because he specialized in portraits, he was interested in people first and foremost. So I find it really charming. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. And it's been recorded, so I will be sharing the recording at some point, hopefully shortly. I will see you in 1 hour tonight and also tomorrow for 4 tours, a pop-up market, crafts market, then Sergishvili Writer's House, then a tour on Ivan Bunin and Vladimir Nabokov by Misha and me, and then I'm taking you to the American-German colony for the final episode. And I will be taking you to the beautiful Lutheran church there, the one that we've seen in the videos. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and bye-bye.